it's easy to entrap them now. Now we know how to get you. So
I use this guy, Deshaun Watson. I don't know if you guys know Deshaun Watson. He played for the Texans. He didn't play for a year, and then he now plays for the Browns. But he stinks now. He played at Clemson. They paid him, I think, 275 million guaranteed for the Browns because he was top rated quarterback. But he had these allegations of sexual assault or misconduct from massage ladies, right? So I live in Texas. When I hurt my shoulder, I went to get a massage, right? And the lady assumed that you there like to after they massage you to like get a happy ending. So I'm like, nah, my fucking shoulder hurts. Fucking right. Well,
you know they shut down a
let
few.
me finish this. God damn it.
You want to stop
So
pregnant pause?
now when you go, don't take your drawers off, bro. Cause they assume you on some other shit. So I was thinking back to his situation, right? And he in Houston. And they was talking about how he had sexual misconduct with like 30 massage girls. But
That's
there's like
a
a
pattern. That's a
huh?
pattern.
What no, but I'm more so thinking about what Sherelle's saying, right? So the lady when I went assumed that this was the next step in the massage. You see what I'm saying? When I'm there at this Thai place to get my shoulder worked on, right? So I'm thinking I didn't know it was torn at the time. She assumed that was the next step. And I live in Houston. So now I'm thinking, okay, Deshaun probably going to it's you got a liquor store, massage parlor, Kroger, liquor store, massage parlor. It's 1,000 of them out here. So now I'm just thinking he probably going from massage spot to massage spot. They assumed that's what's gonna happen. Was it one? Oh, that's Deshaun Watson. Now they all know it's Deshaun Watson. And then does it become a what's that thing? Class action almost. And there were no criminal allegations. Tiff, now here's the thing. If you're done listening, this is not the conversation. So we don't want to make sure everybody stays in tune. If people can't stay with us, then it may not be the conversation for them. Because I'm trying to understand what Sherelle was making. That's the reason why I'm bringing this part up. Because a bunch of them came out of the woodwork saying he did this to me and me and me, but he never got charged with a criminal offense. But every single one of them got paid. Would you want somebody to pay criminally or is the money enough? And if so, what's the actual agenda?
That's
Now
what
let's
Jay
talk
said.
about it. Now let's talk through it now that we have the context.
First of all, there's so many parlors in Houston that got shut down because they've been running like sex trafficking through them. And they had to shut down massage parlors in Houston. It's more of a Houston massage parlor thing than it is a him thing. But that's exactly what I'm saying. The same thing happened to Bill Cosby.
Well, hold
One
on,
person.
real. Let's because Bill, yeah, no, 100%, right? But this is actually tangible. Bill, them lady was at 50 years, 40 years, 30 years. Deshaun just lost his career 4 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? It's tangible. And a lot of Bill, remember the statute of limitations was up for a lot of those women.
Mm-hmm.
Not these women. Not them 30 allegations where he paid all of them out.
They want the money though.
But it was all civil.
But if you're a real victim, wouldn't you want this criminal off the street so he wouldn't victimize other women and make other women feel how you felt?
Yeah, I would
Do
say
you
that
understand civil suits are
Let, let,
typically
let,
filed?
let Callie go and then Tiff, because Callie tried to get in a couple times. Go ahead, Callie.
I wouldn't just base it solely off of just the civil suit, but what I would look at to try and discern it is if they sought the criminal charges first. And then if they couldn't, they just want to get something on the record, they would go for the civil suit. But I tend to be skeptical if they're going for the civil suit first.
Okay. That's how it sounds, right? It seems like a little bit like blackmail, extortion. Go ahead, Tiff. What's your thought?
Typically, when people file a civil suit, is because a criminal defense is really hard to prove. If we take Cassie, which is a really good example, she went through a civil suit because she did not have the evidence to go through a criminal case. When the tape popped up and the state saw it, then they picked up the case. So there are times when you may have a crime that you've done that the woman doesn't press charges, the state does. And even with Tory Lanez, that Megan did not sue him. The state of California sued him. So when you have civil cases, many times it's to right a wrong that you cannot prosecute in a criminal case. There may be opportunities, or what tends to happen is one person comes out, then another person comes out, and this drip, 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 drip of victims begin to come out, and then the pattern is revealed because, again, most women don't report because they do not believe they're going to be believed. Sexual assault is something that is very difficult to prosecute. If you don't go immediately and go to the hospital and get a rape kit and call the cops, there are so many different things that can happen that the way that some people find resolve is criminally you're wrong, but I can't prosecute you that way. So civilly, I'm going to sue you because you've caused damage to my person and who I am. I think we have to be extremely mindful when we're talking about sexual assault, and you should not victim blame, nor should you automatically assume that a person has done a crime. But I wonder, to me, it's a disservice to say, oh, well, if she wanted him to get off of the street, well, if it's been passed or there's no evidence, her next process in our legal system is to file a civil case and be heard either by a judge or jury. And if a judge or jury find that this person is guilty, that's what it is. But
All right. So yeah. So essentially, you're saying the burden of proof is less, right? You can do a lot more speculating, right? You can have a lot more circumstantial, right? Because in a civil suit, I think the correct terminology is like per, preponderance of evidence,
Mhm.
right? And so what it actually says is you don't have enough to charge them with a real crime. So now we justify it by going to the civil courts. So we can't meet the burden of proof for a criminal offense, but for a civil offense you can. Is that the take? And are we saying that they tried to press charges but didn't have enough evidence criminally? Also, the state always takes over. So when you have crimes of this magnitude, every single time, even when I went to court, it said the state of whatever state versus me. So what is your overarching? You're saying they couldn't find him guilty criminally, so they just went after his money. Is that the long and short of it?
Is it money, or is she going over after damages? Like, do you know a person that's had an essay? Do you realize that you don't
Yeah.
heal from that ever?
Nobody, but see that doesn't fit in my question I'm asking at all. Right.
But
So
you're saying
the
what?
damage. Let me ask you a question. Do they pay the
Okay.
damages in push-ups, or they pay the damages in money?
I explain what you're trying to say.
Well, you said they're going after damages. Are the damages in the form of money?
If they can't get a criminal prosecution, yes.
And you go after the money?
I think you go after. I'm not necessarily saying the money. It's a punishment. I can't get you civilly, so I'm going to punish you. It's a punishment.
Is it money?
I I think it would be far more reasonable to file civil suit or whatever to pay for someone's therapy, medical bills and such like that. But if you're going in there trying to get a settlement for millions of dollars to ruin somebody's career, I think that's where people start raising eyebrows.
Damages. Basically, that's the damages.
Yeah, those are the damages.
That's what I said. Like, there. Okay.
Yeah, I said, well, see, this is what we're not going to do. I said money. You were like, no damages. I'm like, is it money? That was my question. So this is one of the ladies who accused him. I never actually saw this. Let's take a look, see what he did. And it was 30 accusations, and he paid out all 30.
By talking about the HBO Real Sports story last night on Deshaun Watson in the 22 civil suits. Two of the accusers were heard from and spoke for the first time publicly about their civil suits and the allegations against Deshaun Watson. Ashley Solis was the first to file a complaint against Deshaun Watson. She detailed what happened when Watson hired her for a massage.
When Deshaun Watson arrived for his massage appointment, Ashley Solis says her excitement quickly turned to something else, a stark realization that Watson had come for more than just a massage. First, she says, Watson refused the towel she had provided to cover him, insisting on using what she describes as a tiny hand towel instead. Then, after the session began, she says Watson attempted to bare his naked body.
He ends up exposing himself, and I hurried up and covered him with the towel, and he said, "Oh, you don't have to worry about the towel." And I said, "Yes, I do."
So then what happened?
He requested that I work on his abdomen. But the moment I went above his navel, he told me he didn't want me to work there. He wanted me to work lower. He just kept directing me to go lower and don't be scared. You can go in there. And I just started really freezing up at this point.
Can you explain that?
Like a wave just took over my body. I felt so hot. I was sweating. It was getting more and more clear that this is not what I signed up for. This is not what I thought the session was going to be.
And soon, he says, Watson's actions left no doubt.
As I'm working, he deliberately grabs himself and put his penis on my hand. And I pulled my hand away instantly and I started crying. And I told him that I'm done. I don't want to do this anymore.
And it's important to note that at that point, the session ended. Watson talked and apologized. And, they went on amicably after that point in that first meeting.
Did you say first meeting? That means she met with him again?
That's what I gathered.
So after that, she decided to, or are they saying first meeting like that's the first time they met?
Or the first time it happened, as far as total, because he had how many ladies? 30?
But why would it happen again?
Or did she meet with him again and everything was fine? Like he didn't try anything?
Because child, we
He
be
only
looking
tried
at
it the first time.
we be looking at people on the panel. We get into them one time and don't talk to them again.
So hold on. All right. So what's y'all? So not, why didn't she just go?
I don't understand why she's crying.
Yeah,
I don't understand why she's crying. You can end the session. I used to work at a massage place. You can just walk out of the room and end the session if it's getting inappropriate.
Right.
It's not. Yeah, I don't understand why she's crying.
I heard it be going down in the massage rooms. It's kind of like the strip club.
Drama involving Texans quarterback Deshaun Watson. As early as tomorrow, Watson could learn the names of some of his accusers.
An emergency hearing is scheduled for tomorrow. Here's what we know. Watson's attorney, Rusty Hardin, filed a motion demanding the names of the women suing the Texans quarterback for allegations ranging from exposure to sexual assault. 2 women went public earlier this week. The other 20 accusers are still known only as Jane Doe. Hardin argues that violates state law. Also tonight, part 2 of our exclusive interview with Jasmine Brooks.
She is a Houston massage therapist who says Watson was a client for 2.5 years. And tonight, she talks about her own suspicions in this case and why she dropped Watson as a client. Why did your relationship with Deshaun end?
Me and Deshaun have had multiple conversations about just his team and who works on him. And Deshaun has a pretty big team of people that works on him. And just me not knowing everything that goes on with the other members that work on him, it got to a point where I was uncomfortable. And I felt like it was more of a liability situation. Just as far as if he was to get injured or anything like that, like I just didn't want that on my plate anymore. And so that's pretty much why I separated from Deshaun.
She also addressed this text exchange between her and a friend released by the accuser's attorney, Tony Busby. Jasmine saying in part, quote, "I told you I stopped working with him," talking about Deshaun. Her friend asks why. She responds, "Because I was hearing too much stuff about him messing with other people, like other therapists and estheticians. He's been doing a lot the last 3 to 4 months. I told him, be careful. His name is getting around."
In the text message, it's being
right. I mean, so he just started acting up 2-3 years later.
It doesn't seem like he was acting up with her. She just didn't want to be in the mix or
nothing. Honestly, she looked like she wasn't with that shit. You can tell the way she was talking and everything.
Right. Yeah, just from what I heard, No, go ahead.
No, I was just saying, I just wonder why he didn't hire like a personal massage therapist that's just for him, so he don't have to hop around. That just, it seems weird to me. He has the money, he can afford it.
He had her for 2.5 years.
The girl that we just saw.
Yeah.
So where did the first girl come in all of this? Was she prior to that 2.5 years, or
she was like the whistleblower?
You know what's ill? The same guy, Tony Busby, did these. That's coming after Jay-Z. Every time I see Ben Crump when a nigga gets shot, I get nervous. Cause I'm like, Ben can't even talk. Like, and so when you see
I was
Tony
just saying
Busby,
the same shit the other day though. I was like, oh, what the hell is going on? Why is Ben Crump on my damn TV?
like, here we go. He's stuttering at that man. But and so here's how these things work too. You have to find a massage therapist. Now, I don't know, right? But you gotta find one. I've heard people, y'all believe in therapy and shit like that, like going to therapy, right? So I've heard people go through 10-20 therapists trying to find the right one. So I don't see this as like super duper odd, right? Trainers, therapists, a massage person that's going, you know what I mean? I see people trying. Now he has a bunch of resources, right? But they're like, why don't they come to your house? Do you want people casing your house as Deshaun Watson? How many addresses you gonna give to people? You know, it might make more sense to go outside your house to get a massage.
But would all these people come out if he wasn't Deshaun Watson? Like if he's what's your last name? Watson?
Mm-hmm.
If he's Hampton Watson, how do you go figure out who you is? Well, you DJ Hamp, so like how do all 30 of these girls get in cahoots to figure out we could get some money from this nigga? Or do one girl go to a lawyer and then that lawyer go find 30 other girls?
Mm-hmm. Because look at what the 2.5 year massage therapist said. You better chill, my nigga. Right? Because if somebody's saying something, it almost seemed like she exposed it. Right? That's the wrong word. I'm about to say collusion. No, collusion, right? Because they it's like she's saying they talking. And it's Deshaun Watson they talking about. And then they find Tony Busby, who literally does these things on a regular basis.
I think in those type of situations, like those are such niche things. Like if you have a nanny, like nannies talk, you know, so massage therapists, they talk. It's not too hard for the one that he was with for 2.5 years to hear through the grapevine, like this is what's going on. I mean, at least you tried to warn him.
Yeah. And she even text the right way. She ain't say no crazy shit. She's like, hey, I told her I stopped because your name, you be wilding. If you getting a happy ending, stop talking about it. Stop asking everybody or some shit. I don't know what, like, damn.
It's crazy that some of the red pill channels tell you what massage parlors you can go to get happy endings.
I've never seen that. Mm-hmm. What you think, Jalen? What's popping?
If they're not telling the truth, I hope that the court finds it not substantial.
Yeah. Thanks.
I just can't speculate about that because I know how that type of situation goes when it comes to SA, and that story that she described isn't really uncommon to happen. So I'm not
talking about the girl.
Yeah, the story isn't uncommon. It's not extreme. It seems like it was. So to me, if it's not true, I hope that they don't give it credence and they throw it out.
Which story are you talking about?
The initial story.
Are you talking about Deshaun?
Yeah, the girl that told her story, the therapist, the massage therapist.
Oh yeah, this is over. That was 2 years ago.
Oh, it's over?
He already paid. He paid 30 of them.
Oh well.
Mm-hmm.
Even when they talk in circles, though, how do 30 women from 30 different massage parlors? Because if it's the same massage parlors and they know each other, why y'all don't ban him? Because if me, Callie, and Jay work and somebody come and expose himself to me or sexually assault me, why would I come up in here and let him do it to Callie, then let him do it to Jalen, then let him do it to Tiff? How y'all all nobody? So y'all know each other, but y'all ain't calling each other and telling this nigga he's gonna assault you. You gonna wait till they get assaulted and then call him to get the money?
His massage therapist of 2.5 years said she knew that he had a big team working on him and she knew the type of stuff that he was doing, and that's why he's no longer a client. And she said in the text messages to her friend, I just hope they don't come calling me asking me questions. So it's obvious she was complicit. So there's your answer. People want to be complicit. They don't want to be a part of it. They don't want to be the one that has to be essentially snitching. That's why. Am I saying that believe all women is the correct mantra to live by? No. But I just can't. It's not a far-fetched story.
One thing she said, she's like, she's excited until whatever happened.
Yeah, because it's an athlete. It's considerably a big client. Of course you're going to be excited. Anybody would be.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're saying what happened to her is common. And so what is that? When you're saying it's common.
Her story is similar to other women's stories that I've heard when it comes to SA. It's not an extreme event. They try to make it pretty like low key, like, come on, just do it, like real quick type shit. It's not this extreme thing.
It says that in 17 months, he saw over 66 different people. Out of the 66, 24 filed charges. 2 tried to file criminally. At least 15 issued statements of support. So is essentially he didn't try with everybody, but there were enough people that this is a pattern. And a lot of times is he settling so he doesn't get a criminal offense?
Well, I thought they said they tried to charge 2 of them tried to charge him.
So it says
they're not mutually exclusive. You see the issue? Criminal and civil are separate.
Okay, so including 2 the past week who sued Watson, then withdrew. 2 women who filed criminal complaints did not sue him. So they put a complaint, but they didn't sue him.
Well, they put a criminal lawsuit, right? And what happened?
They just did a complaint. That's like if somebody's stalking you.
Investigation.
I don't know if there was an investigation or
Yeah.
not, but
So if you file a report, which is a complaint, then it triggers an investigation.
but then also as saying 4 of them, and I guess this is what the lady was talking about, they were contracted with the Texans. So if you're what is that? What is that when you're a 1099? Like you don't know what's
Yeah,
in
independent
their
contractor.
contracts. Like this is when we start talking about things like this, like there's nuance. And I'm sorry to have that 66 people in 17 months. To what First Lady said, why did he not just go hire a professional masseuse? And he had somebody that had been working with for 2.5 years, 2.5 years. I'm sorry, like sometimes when it's mud in the water, you got to acknowledge like there's a behavior that is not aligning.
You know, it's not like she put herself in that situation either.
No,
That's her
she
job.
was at work.
That's her career. Hold on. That's her job. That's her career field. She didn't put herself in that. I'm pretty sure she didn't expect it at all. So I can't speculate on her end. Why didn't she do this and why didn't she do that when she was literally just trying to do her job? Most victims in those situations freeze. They don't fight. They don't think about, oh, I'm gonna call the cops. They're usually in denial about what happened to them. They're confused. They want to block it out of their brain. That's literally what your brain does with trauma. You're in denial. You try to block that shit out. So I'm not going to speculate on her side because that story isn't uncommon. If she would have handled it a different way, like saw him again and again and again, I would be speculating. But since that was the one and only time she saw him, I have no speculation on it.
I need to I'm trying to find it, see if there's another one of her and how many times she saw him or didn't see him. But I think that's
I think we're unclear.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's a interesting point, right? We assume, I get not that we assume, but people think when you say essay, it has to be something overt.
Yeah, no, it's not.
The majority of the time it isn't, right? Because I guess it's being slightly discounted that he wanted them to probably give him a happy ending, right? But I guess if he just throw his penis on her hand and that's not warranted, nor is it legal, that could be traumatizing, especially if that's not how her shop operated.
But that's why sexual assault is harder to prove criminally. Because there's so much nuance and behaviors and shit like that. And if it's not recorded, there's no signs of you being physically it's harder to prove criminally, which is why most of them choose to.
On top of, I'm looking at the numbers.
Why
If
is it
there's
easy to
68
prove?
women and 24 reported, that makes it 27.5. It's almost a 30% of women that are saying that he's behaving this way. So then when we do the stats and they say 1 in 4, it aligns with the stats.
Even at work, right? HR will recommend that you keep a paper trail, especially if you have somebody harassing you at your job. You need a paper trail. You can't just get this person in trouble if you have no proof that you've reported this multiple times or reported it at all. So I don't see what she did wrong. If she wasn't telling the truth, obviously that's wrong as fuck. People doing false allegations, it's wrong. I don't think that should be done either. Like I said, believe all women is not a mantra I stand by. But I don't see that in this case. I don't see a false allegation so far.
Yeah. Any other thoughts on this?
I don't think it's false. That was to the point I was making. I think that people be complicit in it. Maybe 1 or 2 wasn't, and they was shocked. I think that people be on a money grab. They be complicit and they know, like, yeah, I'm gonna get you to do this shit, and I'm gonna get you back later. You're gonna pay me now. You're gonna pay me later.
And I do think the criminal justice system, It's not impartial. We know that at this point. There's so many disparities in how people get punished with certain crimes, gender disparity, racial disparity. We know this already. But false accusers definitely should be tried in court. That should definitely change. I don't think they should get off scot-free either. It's just we need a whole overhaul of the justice system, because judges are held to a judicial, they have judicial independence, right? Meaning that by law they're required to be impartial, which is why they're appointed and not they're appointed to their position, unless it's local, depending on the circuit. But yet we see within the courts that they're not really impartial. There's a lot of bias. There's a lot of personal accounts that they put into their decision making. They may be influenced by social opinion, if it's a big case. Political opinions is so many different things. Human nuance added to that role that we can't even expect them to be impartial. I feel like that's kind of stupid to ask a human that's trying criminals, hey, by the way, I know you're overseeing this case about a rape against a child, but I just hope that you remain impartial during this case. It's not gonna, it don't work like that.
Yeah.
I understand the logic behind why they don't, prosecute the people who are, doing the false allegations, because they don't want to discourage people from reporting. And if it doesn't get proven that it happened, now you're automatically under the umbrella of you made a false accusation. So I understand the logic behind it, but I think it's still the way it's effectuated. It is an overcorrection as to not go after the blatantly, this is blatantly a false accusation, and then not prosecute. It's an overcorrection as to what they're actually trying to do when they don't want to go after the accusers like that.
Yeah.
I think they should. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say that I think, depending on the severity of it, that if we want to go off the fact like, oh, you shouldn't, because that would discourage people, but based off of the severity of it, there should be, like, because I've seen videos, I can't remember this one guy, and it was like a big case, and they asked the women after they like found out they was lying, they was like, are you going to apologize or say anything? And the girl just said it. She was like, no, I'm not apologizing for anything. I got 30 years out of it. Lock her up. Lock her up. Like, depending on the severity, yeah. And you can never get those years back. Just like the guys that Hemp was talking about. Their whole life, like, I'm sure they have been playing ball and doing all that stuff, working hard, got into a good school, and like, man, I understand what you're saying, but that's where the burden of truth and evidence and all that comes into play, and take it seriously, just like any other case.
I wonder this. If they said we give you a choice, you can prosecute them criminally or you can get this $1 million civilly. I wonder what the choice would be.
The $1 million.
People gonna take the money.
Because the majority of people will never see $1 million.
That's wild.
That's sad. True.
It's true on what grounds?
As far as dealing with these celebrities, I think people will take the money. In an everyday situation with Joe Schmo, no, they're probably gonna.
If they can get $1 million from Joe Schmo.
But I'm just saying, like, Joe. Let's say Joe Schmo's a regular working class guy. You can't get nothing from him. they're probably gonna try to
with the
you
celebrities.
know,
Yeah, they're gonna want the money.
yeah, they're gonna want the money if it's a celebrity.
Yeah, the money's there essentially. In a hypothetical, you think what percentage of people, if you got 10 people, how many taking the money?
It's also the entrapment of it is what I'm trying to say. Okay, let's say like women seduce their bosses to get positions. Women go into the music industry and they do sexual favors to get on certain songs, to get certain beats from certain producers. They go into the music industry, they do sexual acts to get certain parts. And then they turn around and it's a suit, even if they was the aggressor. So can that sexual assault work both ways? The same way this woman is basically trying to give you a happy ending, round their ass up, because that shit should be illegal too.
It is illegal.
Because even within those girls that are actually making men feel like you can come to the parlor and this is what it is, you're getting the girls who don't do happy endings in fucked up situations. Because if I came here and every time I come here, every girl is willing to do this, and now I get a new girl and I think she down, but I psychologically fuck her up because she don't understand what the rest of her coworkers doing.
Damn. That's a fucking interesting point. That shit
It's just
is
like I tell women who do that, they want them, they want to say no, stop, and let the man go through it because they have like these great fantasies. You're getting other girls fucked up because if he go with 6 different women who make him feel like no doesn't mean no, he gets to that 7th woman and her no means no, but his psychologically he ain't there because he thinks happy endings happen at parlors. No doesn't always mean no. We gotta be more responsible with that shit too, cause now look how it's happening. Like it don't go down like that. But all your homegirls down with it.
Yo,
I don't think the women that are actually doing the happy endings are saying no.
No, I don't mean that. That's a different thing. I mean like some certain girls, like when they having sex with boys, they like to say no. So some men would say no don't always mean no. Girls like to do that shit where they be like, no, stop. And they want you to take it from them. And I told them that can be so dangerous because there's some girls who's telling you no and she really means no. So, and I tell my nephews and shit, like, if they play them little games, get up. The moment she say no, leave. Because that's not funny.
Also, I think we should take into account the attorneys in this situation too, because a lot of women go into that office wanting criminal charges. I don't think they go in there like, I want to do a litigation. Most of them don't know how the law system works. They be looking that shit up on Google. The attorneys convince them what route is the best route to go.
Yeah.
Most of the time. I don't think these women go in there wanting to ruin their career and get $1 million and be like,
oh, no,
I know
no.
this is going to go into litigation. I need you to do A, B, and C.
No. I agreed up until that point. They know that there's money in there. That's one thing they are clear on. They know that there's money in there, Pimp J.
But do you think majority
the lawyers
of them go into it asking for money, or do they go into it asking for criminal charges? Regular women.
They go in seeing what the options are. And then when they're explaining the options, they opt for the money. Since we just speculating. And the reason why I can make that speculation in good faith is because when you look at Deshaun Watson's cases, out of the 30 that Tiff mentioned, 2 opted for criminal charges.
Probably because they wanted to take that chance.
No, I know. I'm just saying, but
right out in front of you, of course you're gonna take the money because it's an easier route. You don't want to be on TV doing a press tour.
Well, they are on TV, right? Now, here's the thing, right? They don't know if it's easy route because to your initial point, they don't know shit about the law, but they're presented options.
I'm saying once it's laid out in front of them, the option.
Understood, but the understanding is still layman, right? And so they say, here's what you can get criminal. Here's what he is going to be punished with potentially, and here's what you can get if we go the civil route. Now you can't, right? You both can happen, right? They're not mutually exclusive. You can do both, right? OJ got exonerated for the murders, but he still lost in the civil trial, right? But to your point, they don't have an understanding, so they probably just say, "Let me get the money," and I'm using the deductive reasoning of what the evidence that Tiff laid out, saying 2 out of 30 opted for the actual criminal cases.
Can I?
But isn't that going to show that most women do not report? Like we are literally talking about. Okay.
Well,
Most
no,
women
because
don't
you said it was 66 of them.
No, he had 66 massages. 24 people had an issue with it, and out of the 24, 2 women went to try to file criminal. What I'm saying is this: if the other 24, probably 22, would have been like, "Well, I'm going. They're not going to believe me anyway. Everybody knows this is where happy endings happen. I'm not going to put myself through this because I'm not going to be believed. You think I want some money?"
Wait, are you saying that it wasn't enough of them?
It's not about how many it is. It is based on the system that we have that everybody is saying is flawed. I'm not going to put myself in this position. I do not want to be questioned. I do not want for people to think that I wanted this. I don't want anybody to be like, "Oh, well, what were you doing before?"
I don't understand. Well, before you, but what are you focused on? Like what? Depending on what we're
There
talking
are
about.
24 women that had the same.
Is that a lot or a little bit? Is what I'm asking.
24, yes, that's 30%.
Okay, so 24 came out of the 66. Are you saying?
Yes.
Okay, so 66 of them actually said something.
No, he had 66 massages within 17 months. Within that 17 months, 24 women had the same issue. Out of that 24, 2 did criminal charges. They went and filed, but nothing happened. So we're looking at the 2 that did it. It goes back to say reporting doesn't happen. The other 22 women knew, I work for a massage parlor. I don't know. We don't know if these people, have good citizenship or not. They're not going to believe me. Most people are going to think I'm here to try to get money from this person. Like, you know who Deshaun Watson is. I don't know who he is. I couldn't pick that nigga out from the
I'm trying to track your point. So you're saying that the 2 that went for criminal charges,
they are the minority. You know how we say majority or minority? The majority of women do not report essays.
But the 22, it's 24 of them that reported. So
there are 24 that talked about the incident because, again,
they got paid. Remember, he paid out 30 lawsuits.
I'm gonna look that up too. So, because I'm like,
I'm just trying to understand what you saying that it wasn't enough. It showed because you're saying that.
No, I'm saying
this
that
case. Okay, because what you said was this case showed that a lot of people don't report. So I'm asking, are you saying 24 people is a lot of people?
Because I think that let's just get to the point to where you said that he paid 30 people off. So let's get there. And I'm like I said, I want to see the evidence. So I'm gonna pull it up and see.
And 66 massages, I think it doesn't mean it was 66 people.
No, he had 66 massages within 17 months. He had 24 lawsuits that were announced. He went to Texas. So 2 grand jurors denied criminal charges. Code. So he violated the code of conduct, which is why he lost his right to play. All I can do is tell the truth. Even in saying that, like, you think it was 24 women that were just out to get this guy? Like, they all wanted to lie. They wanted to ruin his career. 24 different people.
Yeah.
For some money? Yeah.
It is possible.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
So look at this, right? And this is what I mean. I'm actually having a conversation. Texans resettlement with 30 women related to Deshaun Watson allegations.
So were
You
the
see
two
it?
women that filed the criminal charges, are
That's
they
the
among
team
those
that paid that, not him. The team settled.
Okay.
Are the
What
two
did
women
that
that
say, Hemp? I don't
I'm
have my
assuming they
glasses.
withdrew their criminal?
I
Can you
was
guys hear me?
asking. Yep. I'm sorry. We were talking at the same
Oh, no,
time.
no, no. Go ahead. I
No,
didn't know
I
if
was
the
just
mic
gonna
was.
ask Hemp to read it because I couldn't read it. It
Oh, it
was
says
too
Texans
small.
reached settlement with 30 women related to Deshaun Watson allegations. That's how it happens. It's 30 women.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the league will pay it out.
Yeah. He obviously couldn't pay it.
Yeah, he could. He
But my
could.
question is, the two women who put
How
the
much
criminal
was
charges, were they amongst the one of the two of the 30 that got paid? I guess we don't know that. Like, is that the reason that they may have withdrawn their criminal charges?
He reached a settlement in October with a woman who I guess she filed charges. So he settled with one woman, and then it looks like the NFL paid everybody else off.
What
And I
y'all
don't
are speculating at? It could be a possibility. I can't deny that.
24
Either end
different
could be a
women
possibility.
working in the massage parlors all got together and said, hey, let's take this black man down.
Yes, because here's why the speculation is fair. Did you see the attorney's name?
No, there's two.
Tony
There's a
he's
Tony Busby, but there's also Jose Gutierrez.
He's the leading counsel. So Tony
Yeah.
Busby is known to do witch hunts. That's why people are speculating as much as they are because of his track record, especially with Jay-Z now. And Jay-Z's basically making a stand like, oh, I'm going to show you how different I am.
So that guy, I've never heard of that guy before. So he's basically a sexual assault ambulance chaser.
Sure, if you want to go that route. Yeah, you could call him that.
Okay.
Hey, real quick, I got a question.
Sure.
Which kid was poking somebody in the eye?
Oh, Rocky.
Rocky. Free my ninja Rocky. Just want to throw that out there.
Rocky. Rock. I ain't even moved. They probably sleep by now.
Nah. You probably got Ben Crump over there or something. I don't know. I'm just saying. Just
Nah, man. Rock don't get in trouble. Everybody else get one lollipop, she get two. Fuck that. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, man, I don't know. It's interesting. But yeah, we typically don't put it past them. That's why to believe all women. I think Alexis made a good point initially, but the overcorrection is like it leaves everybody so skeptical.
And also it left a space to where men don't feel comfortable either. I know we're talking about the women, but I think in that with the women, men have been overlooked. So it's like a whole circle. It's like a circle.
I think it's basically trying to do the right thing, I guess, and be a good person and believe the victim without considering other possibilities, which is damaging.
I think it's
that means that the alleged criminal doesn't get due process if you already think he's guilty.
Yeah, I think it's unfortunate because if there are women who are making a mockery of it, you're putting the women who are actual victims in a bad spot, and you're railroading innocent men. And that's just really dangerous.
It makes men more paranoid to interact with women, period. They think at some point we're all capable of doing this to them. That's how bad it gets. So it makes it bad all around.
And the young
But
boys is
it also
telling me,
makes it bad when they do it because it makes women think they're all capable of doing that shit to us. If
Especially
they're
when
gonna
you
just
get men
gonna paint
involved.
every man because they coming out like every man is gonna be doing this, like they're the boogeyman. Like you better run, hide, and get away from them because they're essaying everybody.
So I didn't watch the whole live earlier, but I came in on, I believe, the Travis Hunter, that part where y'all were watching the girl's account of the situation.
Mm-mm.
No,
No, we didn't
Yeah,
watch Travis Hunter.
Sherelle
Travis.
said yeah, good.
It was Travis something. Travis something.
Rudolph.
Rudolph. My bad. Travis Rudolph. I didn't know about that case until you talked about it. So my bad if I mess up his name. Yo, that shit common too. Women be getting other men into they bullshit, and then shit goes bad because they're trying to protect you. That's
But
not right
Hemp
either.
always said that.
People's
Hemp
lives
always
on the
say.
line for what?
Hemp always say the first grave about $1, the second one about a what?
Woman, man.
And that's why when men don't want to get in women's business on the street, random stranger, can't blame them for that. Especially if they see men's lives getting lost over bullshit. I can't expect that out of a man. Hey, stranger, you put your life on the line right now for me. You don't know me, but I expect you to do that because you're a man. No.
How do the majority of women see men? Are you guys scared of men, or skeptical, or
Always skeptical.
was the
Everybody.
bear thing and over? Was that like just strict hyperbole?
Mm-mm.
The
No.
bear thing is stupid. I think it's selfish because you're not considering the other end. You think the bear want to be in the woods with you? You in its habitat. If you using a bear nuance, do a foreign thing in his habitat. Of course he gonna attack you.
But you know what?
Bears always
I did a show on that some time ago, and I went out in HEB and I was asking people like, and this girl is in there with her boyfriend. It's on Black Men Unfiltered. She was in there with her boyfriend and standing there, and she said she would rather be in there with the bear unless the guy was him. Now I didn't even preference what guy. I just said a man or a bear. I didn't say you can pick whatever man you want. And she's standing there with her boyfriend. And she's like, bear. And even then, her guy said bear too. And I was like,
I pick bear too.
Yeah, like I at first I didn't get it. I thought it was stupid, right? Then I went on ahead and was looking at different comments and videos and stuff like that, and I understand where they're coming from. I think it's exaggerated. Like I'm not walking around, you know what I'm saying, fearing all men, right? But from what I gathered, the analogy pointed to the unpredictability of dealing with a man alone. That fear, like the bear, whatever, like that. You know what I'm saying? There's things that they tell you to do. You know what I'm saying? As far as to try not to get attacked and everything like that.
Because
But
you could
with
scream at bears. Like you see people in the woods, they do make loud noises, scream at bears. You could run in a cabin, try to hide from the bear. Because the bear doesn't necessarily have the conscience to say I'm going to get you. It just sees you as, what the fuck is that? That y'all feeling the same way. Like, what you doing here? That's how you and the bear feeling. So people, they just acting out of fear. Like you could be trying to do something to me. But with a whole nother human, you ain't scaring no man off saying, hey, not if he wants you.
That type of thinking messes with like the form of human interaction that we have. Y'all want
I'm
men to
lost.
approach you, but you're scared of being alone with him, but yet you want him to traditionally take care of shit, but you also scared of him. I don't see how that computes in your head.
How it computes in people's head is that people have been sexually assaulted. People have been raped. If it doesn't happen to you, if you don't understand that women get in close quarters with men and things happen to them and against their will, it's a very drenching, powerless feeling for you to walk
That part
around
I
the world thinking
understand.
somebody took something from you. And a lot of times people that have went through sexual assault or rape rather be dead. They're walking around and they would rather die. They would rather somebody do that to them than do what they've done to them.
I'm not talking about victims though. I'm talking about women in general who say they are scared of men. If that is the case, then you should have no expectation for them outside of human decency. Other than that, there shouldn't be an expectation. You're scared of them.
There are apex predators now. Everybody, even the bear, is scared of men.
I mean, that's just like along the same lines of this
The
chick or
bear is scared of
whatever.
men. Lions, tigers, bears, they're all scared of men. Men are the apex predator. Like they're the ones with the million over the earth. Everybody should be scared of them. They're the ones.
But that falls in line with the women who say that they scared of turning a man's advances down or whatever, right? I saw this chick or whatever. She was talking about some. I absolutely give the number. Absolutely, I give them my number because I don't know what they gonna do. Like I said,
I
to
mean,
determine the
Let me.
hypocrisy, I have to see if it was the same people saying those two different points. Like we want to be approached, but then I'm scared of all niggas. But
Yeah,
you know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
my bad for
You're not
switching
gonna
the
never.
subject.
But
because it's not that. I
I
think it's more of the people who've had these bad experiences, right? Because we could watch the internet all day, but what we go through in our day-to-day lives, if you're a victim or you're close to a victim, then your perception is totally different. Even my cousin, I have a cousin who's been shot in the face for turning down a man. That happened to my cousin. So it's like it's not nothing that's so far removed that I watched in a movie that this is my cousin who has a hole in her face to this day because she turned down a man because she didn't want to give him his number. And we're not saying that this thing happens all of the time, but when it happens to you, it's like, yo, I'm the unlucky one. This shit might happen to me. So I think it's just different. It's just the same way when men are falsely accused, how they go around looking at women now. Like these bitches will lie on you. It's like when you ain't never been falsely accused or nothing, you a man, you believe in all women. We all thinking, wait till somebody lie on your ass. Once you the man that got lied on, you're like, oh no, these bitches will say anything.
But is there a way to help those people so that they don't live debilitated like that? I'm not
No.
saying there is. I'm just asking.
you have to put how you say what's the word I'm looking for? Like defense mechanisms, maybe, or is it you have to? I think you start to move a little differently, essentially, but it could be detrimental, right? I think that's the overarching point. Like that thing sears in their subconscious, and they seemingly see everybody similarly. I guess the point is, can you blame them? Are they
I
wrong
can't.
for doing that?
I think they're. I think they're wrong for doing that because I don't believe that I should treat everybody the way that this other person because of what one other person treated me, right? But I understand where it comes from.
Yeah, no, 100%. There's a story of a dude named Brian Banks did 5 years and 5 years of probation. He played at Cal Poly, which is a pretty good football school. He did 5 years in prison, 5 years of probation. He was accused of rape, and then the lady later said that he didn't do it. She actually said that he never kidnapped her, never raped her, and she lost her virginity after she even met him. But he can't get them 5 years back. So what should Brian Banks do? He gonna treat everybody with a 10-foot pole, you know, which is unfortunate.
But that's also the reason why we kind of look at some women and the way they carry themselves. And a lot of times when they say something happened to them, we like, you know, like that. There was like this nasty girl. Y'all remember that white girl? She used to just go around saying anything. And she was making I don't know her name. I forgot
Don't
it.
matter.
But she was going around making allegations about Trey Songz, and nobody believed her because it's like, but you be out here doing anything, saying anything.
That's the
you tell her. She was telling a story about how she sucked off every starting lineman on the Phoenix Suns one night at the hotel randomly, and
starting
then
lineup.
yeah, in the next conversation, she's talking about Trey Songz did something against her will, and it's like, what are we supposed to believe, sis?
Look at this.
Basically recant everything that she said that Brian did 10 years ago. If I let this man down, I would have to live with that the rest of my life.
The mood in the room was light, but investigator Parrish's questioning got heavy.
When did you lose your virginity? Was it after him, before him?
After. Now the big question. When she said those things, what did you say to yourself?
Wow, I got it.
It was the key evidence.
No, he did not rape me. No, he did not kidnap me.
Why would she say that shit?
She ain't got no edges. Don't trust her.
Why would she say that?
That's crazy.
What? She ain't had no edges. Her wig was like half.
I think wigs are a problem generally, but I got a son though. Like that's the fly shit. Big Chuck damn near see-through. He got long hair. You know what I'm saying? Like he got the look. You like I just like Who got a son? Joel got a son. T.
I have two.
Two sons. Two sons.
I have one.
One
Three.
son. 3 sons.
I'm telling mine right now. When the girl says no, you stop. When a girl says no, you stop.
Right.
And he's hot. And I'm telling him that. Like, dude, especially when they're, you know, they're handsome and all of that stuff. They just, oh, okay. You know, but
I mean, you even gotta tell your boys about when a relationship ends because, you know, girls do wild things.
But see, Lionel made a great point. No. CJ told a story today. He said he was with the girl. He had sex with her. He said she came back 2 days later. I think you took advantage of me. I think you raped me. So he said, I'm stuck. 2 days later, she came back and said that.
He also went back.
Let me finish telling the story. So he said he didn't know what to do with it, right? Her saying that. So he said he went back, had sex with her again, because that would mean that I forced you, but you let me come back. So he's saying that's the way in which he protected himself. And I'm like, that's a dangerous game, bro. But Reaper came up as like, no, that's ingenious in a way. Right? So I raped you the first time, but you let me come back again. So it's almost like he was trying to protect himself in that way. I don't know. It just big, but it's like, what do? You get a phone call. Hey, I think you did this to me.
And I don't think that that's great. Sometimes women have a little bit of regret if they don't get the proper, you know. I've had a girl like be mad at my friend and she's like, I don't like the way he had sex with me like I was a hoe, da 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 da. And because she regretted it and she was angry, you know what I'm saying? It just started making her say shit that just wasn't real. And it's like, bro.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think a lot of that is that extra noise. Oh, my bad.
I think that happens a lot.
What part? Like, and I think is I told him that's dangerous to go back there.
Absolutely.
But there was just another way of thinking about it. I'm like, I could see it, but I wouldn't recommend that. But what were you saying happens often?
But he also said he had to get, you know, her
Joel
retarded and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. You're saying that something happens often, Joel.
Oh, I lost it.
My bad.
That's all right.
I mean, it's stupid.
Mm-hmm.
Don't get me wrong, it's stupid. I agree with you, but yeah, he felt like he was trapped, like some women feel with somebody that is predatory. Huh? Like most women who get essayed feel. He felt trapped and had to come up with a plan.
Yeah.
Stupid, but it was a plan.
And when CJ was telling his story too, right, Jalen? I said, yo, because I understand it, but was she high? Was she drunk? If so, she can't consent. Right? Because I wanted him to see culpability, right? Not blame, like saying, hey, you fucked this up. But yo, people can't say yes if they're inebriated. So now when she alleges that, it has more merit because he can't consent.
Did he give the nuance at all or just left it at?
I asked him. He's like, I think we was smoking.
Okay. Yeah.
He said she didn't drink, or he drank but she didn't, and then he said
they both smoked. They smoke.
That's good enough.
But he said that she doesn't normally smoke, but she smoked at that time. So if you smoke all the time versus somebody that doesn't get high all the time, that's a different type of thing.
Yeah, I don't. I smoked one time my whole life. It took me 10 minutes to put my socks on. I said never again, bro. So
what was you on?
This is where it gets dangerous, though. This is where it gets dangerous with the whole. Even if we both drinking, somehow I can't be raped, but you can. But we both neither one of us could consent because we both drunk.
Right.
But we both inebriated, but somehow only you can be taken advantage of.
Yeah.
I think that's where it gets dangerous. That's something new. That's some new shit.
No, in the court of law, I mean, it's assumed that the man is the aggressor unless there's evidence that he's not. But it could easily be painted that he was the aggressor because of the gender nuances that we have and that we uphold.
Yeah,
that's why it's dangerous, though.
They think an erection is a choice.
Like I was just getting ready to say, I remember. I remember, like, what was that? That might have been early 2010s. I don't know. I know I was at home and I was pregnant, but I was watching my stories, and they had this whole arc or whatever with the character. He was actually he was raped, but nobody believed it. She drugged him with like some Viagra stuff, put it in the food, and she raped that dude for like 48 hours.
Oh no, I wasn't laughing at that. I didn't hear that story. I need to look that one up.
It was in my stories. It was in my soap operas that I was watching.
I know, that's what I was laughing at. My grandma says that, but she's 90. My stories.
They call stories. They called stories. Okay, gotta watch the stories.
Yeah,
it was actually it was One Life to Live. But what?
Your program? Don't talk to me right now. My program is on. My program is on.
Yeah.
I used to watch ABC soaps. But yeah, that was a whole thing to bring awareness to the fact that men can be sexually assaulted and they can be raped. But yeah, I just tied all that together because of this new shit about, about the you can't consent if you've been drinking shit now.
Man, but now I'm thinking like this and making notes. Like I gotta go through all of this with my son Like I gotta tell, like it's a list of things that just hit me. Like
No,
I gotta tell.
let his daddy do it. His daddy got to go through that list because he got follow up stories. When he think back in hindsight, niggas got follow up stories, close calls. Your man went through it. Shit be shaky, all types of shit. Let his daddy tell it to walk through that shit with him.
Yeah.
So what happens in a scenario when a boy and a girl like each other and
Mhm.
they in an intimate space and they kissing and
Mhm.
they touching, but the girl doesn't want to go all the way through with it?
What did she say in the process?
She said no, stop. She don't feel comfortable. He like, come on, we grown. You know, the badgering that happens.
Mhm.
Come on, we grown. I'm not gonna tell nobody. I love you. I care about you. Da da da. Come on, don't do this to me. You know what I'm saying? All of that.
Tiff, Tiff, don't stay out of the chat. Yeah. So he trying to coerce essentially.
Yeah, like you just wanna. She just like, is that nervousness or like that feeling like she don't really want to do it? Is he supposed to make sure he gets her over that, or is he supposed to stop and just be like, well, we'll
You
we'll
know
return on a
fuck we
day.
gonna say, you know he gotta stop.
That's how it happened to people most times. It's people that they trust, that they feel comfortable with.
He's so crazy.
But
And then
because
I'm
when you
telling
get in
you,
the court, why was you in his house? Why was you in his car? Why was you in his bed? Why was you hugging him? Why was you kissing him? Because I like him, but I didn't want him to enter my body. That wasn't okay. So everything was okay up until that, and that's the process of what these girls go through.
yeah, no real shit. Yo, the discernment niggas gotta use is crazy. Not crazy. It just is.
Was
Like
that
you
good?
had to.
Now you following that?
Yeah. That shit. I'm just thinking like that. Yo, young boy. And then it's so easy to clout chase now. That shit. And that's what they were saying. They don't want to approach. You can't risk it. You can't even help Shorty in the gym. You get accused of anything in front of 1 million people in an instant.
And sometimes it's just about how you look. They could just, if they don't find you attractive and you try to talk to them, they could feel like that's sexual assault. Like if an ugly man approach a woman and he's like, "Oh, you look so sexy," she will call it SA.
Damn.
Like I seen like a man looking at a woman. She had on these booty shorts, her booty hanging out the shorts, and the man was looking, and somebody was like, "Look at them perverts," and I was like, "That's not actual perversion. That's normal." Heterosexual men looking at ass cheeks falling out shorts is normal. Y'all will turn anything into perversion. Perversion
Yeah.
is unnatural. That's natural. And she got them ass cheeks falling out her shorts because she wants somebody looking at her ass cheeks.
Yeah, sure. They be like, nigga, you a pervert.
Like, no, he's not. He's a fucking man. Like, what the fuck? Like, they're men. They're heterosexual men, and there's ass cheeks falling out of shorts. Now he a pervert. What?
Yo, real shit, right? I found out one of my mans was gay, right? I caught him though. These girls walk by us, right? It's probably like 4 or 5 of them, right? We just chilling. And so everybody looking, right? Of course, right? But I look up, he ain't even looking. I see, yo, you good, yo? And we was young, right? But I just like, he like, what? I'm like, you good, my nigga? Like, but I didn't want to put it out there so crazy. But then, later the nigga don't like girls, so it makes sense.
Like you ain't see what we saw.
I'm like, yo, I thought you good. But I want to air him, feel me? I want to, niggas be wilding, but yeah, it's natural. Like you're saying, it's shit natural, Damn.
Yeah, you can look, just don't touch.
Yeah. Damn. No. Let me ask y'all a question. He was looking at us. It's crazy. So when we look at like how women are treated under the eyes of the law, you know, and how it's disparate in terms of women don't get prosecuted to the same extent in the majority of the time. Do we agree on that or no?
Agree that it happens? Yeah.
More. What do you mean?
No, I thought that's what you meant. Like, do we agree to your
Women
opinion?
don't get the
Prosecuted, yeah, to the
Yeah.
same extent, generally, or majority of the time, right? There's outliers, of course.
Okay.
Does it? What does it say, you think? Like, is it just an acknowledgement of what? That women, like, is it like almost like a insult? It's like,
I would say it's antiquated.
yeah, you guys looked at it lesser than under the eyes of the law, or not as threatening, or like kids?
I guess
Because kids
weaker.
also get.
Yeah.
Is it
The
weaker?
weaker sex still, yeah.
Weaker vessel.
Yeah, I definitely think we're looked at as the weaker sex.
Yeah.
So yeah, the system is antiquated. It ain't caught up all the way.
So the system don't believe in equality.
Democracy is a joke.
Double standards everywhere. So yeah.
Democracy is a joke.
I was thinking of that. Let me read
This shit
these
ain't
real
real.
quick. Man. Like, share, subscribe, tell a friend, hit that like button right now if you can. That helps the channel the most.